revaluation account mean? Just a moment. Okay. See, first of all, whenever reconstitution of a firm take place, reconstitution take place on account of either because of the death of the partner or because of the retirement of a partner or because of the admission of any partner, right? Whenever a constitution is taking place on account of any of these factors, then at the time of the reconstitution, we need to revalue our asset and liabilities. We have to revalue our asset and the liability as per the market value, right? So whenever reconstitution take place, we need to revalue the asset and liability. So what do you mean by revalue? Revalue means if the market value, there is a possibility that over the period of time, the market value of the asset may have increased in the market, right? And it may be a possibility that over the period of time, because of changes taking place in the market, because of the advancement of the technology or any other thing, the value of the asset may reduce over the period of time. So there may be decrease in the value of the asset. Both are the possibilities. Asset may increase, asset may also decrease at the same time. And similarly, when we talk about the liability, same could happen with the liability as well. At the time of, sorry, whenever reconstitution take place, we need to revalue the liability depending upon the current market value or the current obligation upon the firm. So liability could also increase or decrease, right? Now the thing is, when we revalue our asset and liability, because reconstitution is taking place, we need to record such values in we need to record such values somewhere, right? We need to record the revaluation revalued value, the revalued asset or the revalued liability in a particular account, and for that purpose we prepare the revaluation account. We prepare revaluation account. So sir, what is actually revaluation account? Revaluation account is an account that records the revalued asset revalued liabilities, right? In the value of the asset and liability need to be recorded in the revaluation account. By whatever amount the value of the asset is increasing or by whatever amount the value of the liability is reducing, we need to record that in our revaluation account. And basically that is why we prepared the revaluation. Revaluation account is prepared to record the increase or decrease in the value of the asset or liability. Now, this is how we prepare the revaluation account. As any other account, we have two sides in the revaluation account as well. One is called the debit side and then the other is called the credit side. Just a minute. Anyways, so this is the credit side and this is the debit side. Debit side, I'm sorry, debit side. And as any other account, we have this side, we have particulars and amount. And again, we have particulars and amount. Right? So firstly, whenever, see, keep that in mind. Whenever there is increase in the value of any asset, Whenever asset increases, that is a kind of gain. Whenever asset increases, it is a kind of profit. So such gain in the value of the asset. Let's suppose one of our asset. Let's suppose there was we have building in our balance sheet. The value of the building is the value of the building was earlier at 2 lakh. But because of the revaluation, the current market value of such building have increased by 80,000. That means the current value of the building is 2,80,000, right? So there is an increase of rupees 80,000. So this increase need to be recorded in the revaluation account. On which side? We will record this on the credit side. Here there is an increase in the value of the asset, so this need to be recorded on the credit side revaluation account. Why we are recording it on the credit side? Because it is a kind of gain, it is a kind of income, and any income or gain need to be recorded on the credit side of the revaluation account. At the same time, if there is any reduction in the value of the asset, if any asset reduces over the period of time, let's suppose the value we have a value we had a furniture, the value of which was 5 lakhs, but over the period of time the value of the furniture falls, it reduced to only 3,50,000, right? So that means there is a reduction in the value of the furniture by 1.5 lakh. So this has to be recorded in the revaluation account as well, but not on the credit side. This need to be recorded on the debit side of the revaluation account. So whenever asset reduces, whenever there is decline in the asset, such reduction in the value of the asset need to be recorded on the debit side. On the other hand, if there is a liability and liability is decreasing, that means see decrease in liability is a kind of profit now. Our obligation to pay a certain amount is reducing, right? So if our obligation reduces, we will always credit such reduction in the liability. Let's suppose our liability have reduced by 20,000, so this will be recorded on the credit side. At the same time, when the liability increases, when there is an increase in the liability, increase in liability indicate a kind of expense, it is a kind of loss. So if there is increase in liability and we are treating it as a loss, so this has to be recorded on the debit side of the revaluation account, right? So all the uh, revaluation taking place in the value of the asset and liability has to be recorded in a particular account that is called the revaluation account. So if you talk about what is the revaluation account, the revaluation account is a summarized statement that gives you an idea about the changes in the value of the asset and liability that have taken place over a period of time. Got it? Revaluation account is an account that gives us a summarized information about the change in the value of the asset and liability over a period of time. Got it? Is this clear to you? Please confirm if it is clear or not, everyone. Zainab, Shifa, and Prerna. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody is, if it is not clear, please tell me. All right. So now one more thing. Yeah, there's one more point left. Now, let's suppose we have recorded all the changes that have taken place in the value of the asset or liability, and we have recorded such change on the relevant side. That means if asset have increased, we recorded that on the credit side. If liability reduced, that reduction in the value of the liability have been recorded on the credit side, and any increase in the value of the liability have been recorded on the debit side, and any decrease in the value of the asset have been recorded on the debit side. At the end, what we need to do, we need to total both the sides. Now firstly we'll start with the credit side. Let's suppose the credit side balance, of the revaluation account is for example 3 lakh. Let's suppose it is 3 lakh, right? And out when totaling the credit side, we will subtract the debit side value out of it. So out of 3 lakh, we will subtract 1,50,000 and 30,000. So after subtracting, just a minute. After subtracting 1,50,000 and 30,000 out of it, we'll be left with 1,20,000, right? 1,20,000. So this 1,20,000 1,20,000 is considered as a revaluation loss, sorry, revaluation profit. This will be considered as a profit of the revaluation account. Everybody understood what I'm trying to explain here? I'm saying that first of all, when we total the credit side, and if credit side is in excess of the debit side, that indicates a profit situation, right? And vice versa, if the debit side is less than, so if debit side is, let's suppose debit side is more than the credit side, then this indicate loss, right? And if there is a loss, such loss need to be recorded on the credit side of the revaluation account by loss. Let's suppose if there is a loss of 120,000, we will record this here. All right. Now, after determining the loss or profit, such loss and profit has to be distributed among the partners as well, X, Y, and let's suppose if there is other partner Z. So this profit will be distributed among the old partners in what ratio? Old ratio, old profit sharing ratio. Will distribute the profit among the partners in the old PSR. And similarly, if there is a loss, such loss need to be distributed among the old partners in the old PSR as well, old profit sharing ratio as well. And then we will close this account. Got it? Is this clear? Please confirm if it is clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Anybody want me to explain anything one more
Yes, sir.
time? All right. So, okay, now let's come back to the definition one more time and let's read it again. Let's say this says that revaluation account is an outline. It is an outline. It is an outline. Just a minute. Revaluation account is an outline. It is an outline to determine net profit or loss on revaluation of asset and liability, and including those items that are unrecorded into books. Revaluation account is prepared at the time of admission of a new partner, death of a partner, retirement of a partner. Revaluation profit or loss is transferred to the capital account of all the partners comprising the deceased partner, even the partner who died. To that partner as well, the profit and the loss of the revaluation need to be transferred. In what ratio? In the old profit sharing ratio. This is the meaning of the revaluation account. Right, everybody? Is it clear, all of you? If it is not, please tell me. Please, everyone, please write down the definition of the revaluation account, then we will move to the next slide. Do it quickly. Or for the time being, you can also take the screenshot. It would be better if you note all these things later after the session. Just leave it,
Okay, sir.
leave some space in your notebook, leave one page, and that will be sufficient to write all the theoretical part of this topic. The thing is that you need to understand the meaning of the revaluation account, and I'm sure that must be clear to you. Treatment of revaluation. If now see how do we treat revaluation? If the asset and liability are to be revalued and to be shown in the books of account, then we have to prepare revaluation account. Right? If question is asking us to revalue the asset and the liability, then we will be required to prepare the revaluation account. Number one. Number two, if revalued asset and liability are not to be shown in the books. Firstly, if the revalued asset and liability are to be shown in the books, then we will have to prepare the revaluation account as well. Secondly, if the revalued asset and liability are not to be shown in the books, then we are not required to prepare the revaluation account. Then we can just pass the adjustment entries. We can just pass the adjustment entry, and that will be gaining partners capital account to sacrificing partners capital account. Now you can simply notice here that the adjustment entry everywhere remains same. Adjustment entry, whenever you need to pass the adjustment entry, it will remain same. Gaining partners capital account debit to sacrificing partners capital account. All right, just keep that in mind. How the revaluation is to be done or the treatment of revaluation will be done, it depends upon whether we need to show the value of the asset and liability in the books of account or not. If we are required to show the value of the books of show the value of the as revalued asset and liability in the books of account, that is in the balance sheet, then we will have to prepare the revaluation account as well. But if we are not required to show the revalued asset and liability in the balance sheet, then we can simply pass the adjustment entry and done. We are free. Okay, I hope this point is also clear to you. Tell me, please confirm this so that we can move to the question. Everybody, please
Yes, sir,
confirm
it's
if it is
clear.
clear, or do I need to explain it one more time?
Sir, can you
It's
explain it
clear,
one more
sir.
time?
Want me to explain it again? Just a minute. See, this is
Sir,
saying,
just briefly.
yeah, I'm doing that. See, what it is saying, how should we treat the revaluation, whether we should prepare the revaluation account or not. Just let me write it this way. Revaluation account is to be prepared or not. It depends upon two situations. Number one, if question requires us to show the value of, show the revalued asset and liabilities in the books of account, means in the balance sheet, that will be given in the question, right? If question says so, then in that situation we will have to prepare the revaluation account. Yes, we will prepare revaluation account if question is asking us to revalue the asset and liability and show the same into the balance sheet. Secondly, the question could be where question does not requires us to show the revalued asset and liability in the balance sheet, does not require revalued asset and liability in the, does not require revalued asset and liability in the balance sheet, then we are not required to prepare the revaluation account. The question is, what are we required to do then? We will simply pass the journal entry, and what journal entry will be passed? Adjustment journal entry will be done. So what is adjustment journal entry? Adjustment journal entry says we need to just simply debit the gaining partners capital account, and credit the sacrificing partners capital account. Got it? Is this clear, everybody? Now, but now is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So kindly take the screenshot of this as well, so that you can later complete this. Moving on to the next point. Now, this is the format of the revaluation account. As I told you, whenever there is increase in the value of the asset, that indicates a profit, it needs to be recorded on the credit side. Whenever there is decrease in the value of the liability, that indicate profit as well, that need to be recorded in the credit side as well. At the same time, if there is any unrecorded asset that we forgot to record earlier in the books, by chance, if there is any asset that was not recorded earlier, it was discovered later that one of the assets remain unrecorded in the books. So this is also a kind of profit. This is also kind of gain. So this will also be shown on the credit side of the revaluation account, right? And if there is any other loss, thus such loss will also be transferred to the revaluation account credit side. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. On the, let's for the time being, just skip this point. I'll come back to this. Now, on the debit side, we record the decrease in the value of the asset, increase in the value of the liability, unrecorded liability, if any, will be recorded on the debit side as well. After recording all the transactions, we will total the credit side and debit side value. If the debit side is more than the credit side, this indicate a loss. That loss has to be written on the credit side here. If there is a loss, such loss will be written on the credit side and need to be transferred to the partner's capital account. But vice versa, if debit side is less than the credit side, that indicates profit. And such profit need to be distributed among the partners in the old PSR. In the old PSR need to be shown on the debit side. And after determining the loss or profit, we will now close the revaluation account. Got it, everyone? Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take the screenshot of this format of the revaluation as well. You need to write all this in your notebook. So leave some space for writing these things. Okay. So I'm sure everybody understood this. So I'm moving to the next point. Now see. Question 85. Now we'll start with the question. It says that A, B, and C are sharing the profit and loss in the ratio of 2:2:1. They have decided to share the profit with effect from 1st of April 2019. The ratio is 5:3:2. They also decided not to change the value of asset and liability in the books of account. The book value are and revised value of the asset and liability as on the date of change were as follows. All right. So this question, under this question, it says we have there are three partners, 2:2:1. Their profit sharing ratio was, and their new profit sharing ratio is 5:3:2. Now they have decided not to change the value of the asset and liability in the books. That means no revaluation account in this question is required, right? Everybody got it? Is this
Yes.
question okay? We just need to pass the adjustment entry. That is what the question is saying. So let me show you how we will solve this question. Since we are required to pass the journal entry, but journal entry cannot be determined unless and until we determine the sacrificing or gaining share of the partner, because the adjustment entry is based on the gaining and sacrificing shares of the partner, right? As we know that gaining partner's capital account need to be debited and sacrificing partner's capital account need to be credited. Therefore, before passing the journal entry, we will have to determine their gaining and sacrificing shares. But before that, before determining the gaining and sacrificing shares, we will have to determine the profit or loss taking place on account of the revaluation of the asset and liability. Right? We will have to determine whether there is a loss or profit on the revaluation of the asset and liability. See, what are the different values given in the question? Machinery that was earlier valued at 2,50,000. This is the book value, right? Now revised at 3 lakh. Tell me whether there is a profit or a loss. Tell me quickly. The machinery that was earlier valued at 2,50,000 now revised at 3 lakh. So tell me whether there is a profit or a loss in the value of the machinery because of such revaluation.
Profit.
Tell me quickly. Profit of how much? 50,000 is profit.
50,000.
For the next one, for computer, the book value of the computer was 2 lakh and the revised value is 175. That means this time we have a
loss of 25,000.
Loss of 25,000, right? In case of sundry creditors, now remember that sundry creditors are liability. Considering that, please answer. Earlier, the book value of the liability was 90,000. Now the revised value of the liability is 75,000. So tell me whether there is a profit or a loss.
Profit of 15,000.
Perfect. This is a profit since the value of the liability is reducing. Outstanding expenses is also a liability. A liability is again, this time the liability is increasing. So we have a profit or a loss situation.
Loss.
Loss of 10,000, right? Is that correct? And now
Yes,
we will
sir.
be able to determine the net profit or net loss. 50,000 plus 15,000, that will be 65,000. And out of 65,000, we need to subtract 35,000. So we have a profit of 30,000, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me show you how we will actually represent this in our solution. So we'll write it as statement showing profit or loss on revaluation. We are not preparing the revaluation account. We are just determining the profit or loss on account of revaluation of asset and liability, since we need to pass the adjustment entry, right? Firstly, the value of the machinery two lakh 50,000 it was. Now it is 3 lakh. That means we have a profit of 50,000. Then in case of the computers as well, the value of the computer was 2 lakh, but the revised value is only 1,75,000. So that means we have a situation of loss here. Then guys, note this down along with me, right? Sundry creditors, 90,000, and it goes down to 75,000. So that means we have a profit of 15,000. And lastly, it is outstanding expenses, 15,000 to 25,000. We have a loss here of rupees 10,000. So ultimately, we have a profit of 30,000, and this need to be adjusted among the partners in their gaining and sacrificing ratio. Right? Everybody understood this? Please tell me if it is clear or not.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
All right. Now we will show the calculation of gaining and sacrificing shares of the partner. Gaining and sacrificing shares. So this is how we will determine the gaining and sacrificing shares. Firstly, you will have to write down the formula. Formula is new share minus the old shares of the partner. So earlier we have 3 partners, A, B, and C, and their profit sharing ratio was 2:2:1. That means their old ratio was 2/5, 2/5, and 2/5. And the new profit sharing ratio is 5:3:2. That means 5/10, 3/10, and 2/10. Totaling it, we will get 50, then 25, 20 equals to 5 by 20, 5 by 50. And since A is getting positive proportion of share, that means A must be gaining. Then 50, 20, that means minus 5 by 50, that means B is sacrificing. And in this case, it will be 50 and 20. Sorry. It will be 10 minus 20, so minus 10 by 50. So he's sacrificing as well.
Sir, can you show the question?
Question. This is the question. Done?
Oh, yes, sir, done.
Okay. I think we are making some mistake. Yes.
Yes, so the ratio is 2:2:1.
Yeah, 2 is to 2 is to 1. No? So it should be, instead of 2, it should be 1. Sorry. All right, so this will be 50, then 10 minus 10, this will be 0. Not gaining, not sacrificing. So A is gaining and B is sacrificing. Now we will pass the journal entry. And 5 and 5, okay. So journal entry will be, finally, this is what the question requires us to do. Adjustment journal entry. Adjustment journal entry will be, what will be the journal entry? Journal entry will be A's capital account, debit, to B's capital account. Right, everyone? And the profit was 30,000. So it will be distributed 5 by 50. So calculating it, we will get 30,000 divided by 50 into 5, it will be 3,000. So 3,000 debited and 3,000 will be credited. Done, everyone? Anybody having any doubt? We'll write down the narration as well. We'll write it as being revaluation profit adjusted between partners. Anyone having any doubt? Zainab, Prerna, and Shifa. Is this question clear, everyone?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
It's clear, okay. Shifa, what about you?
Oh, yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Done? You are still writing it?
Done, sir.
Done, okay. Moving on to the next question. All right. So the question is saying Bhavya and Sakshi are partners in a firm sharing the profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. Their balance sheet is given as, in the balance sheet, we have the, on the asset side, you can see furniture, land and building, investment, trade receivable, cash in hand is there. Sundry creditor, general reserve, investment fluctuation fund, Bhavia's capital, Sakshi's capital is there. The partners have decided to change the PSR to 1:1, and for this purpose they have decided that investment to be valued at 20,000. Currently, investment is at 30,000. Now they want to revalue it at 20,000. That means there is going to be a reduction in the value of the investment by 10,000. Right? Goodwill of the firm is to be valued at 24,000. Goodwill of the firm is to be, now see, this is the valued goodwill. This is the valued goodwill of the firm. And I'm sure that all of you already understood how do we treat the valued goodwill. You are able to recall that valued goodwill is always, tell me, how do we
Declaring
treat?
partner to sacrificing partner.
Correct, adjusted. Yes, adjusted. Then general reserve not to be distributed between the partners. Again, general reserve, if it should be distributed, then we must have we would have distributed it in the old PSR. But question is telling us not to distribute the general reserve. That means we will be passing the adjustment journal entry for the general reserve as well. We will passing the adjustment journal entry for the general reserve as well. Question is asking us to pass the journal entries in the book of the firm. Show the working. Again, see, in this question also, question does not require us to prepare the revaluation account. Got it? Question is not asking us to prepare the revaluation account. We just need to determine the loss or profit taking place on account of such revaluation of the asset or liability. And depending upon the profit or loss, we just need to show the adjustment entry in this question as well. Tell me guys whether you will be able to solve this question or not. Anything that you are finding difficult in this question, Prerna, Shifa and Zainab, please tell me.
No, so we don't have to make a revaluation account in this.
Yes, we don't have to make the revaluation account in this. We just we will simply prepare a working note, determine the profit or gain of the revaluation, simply not by preparing the revaluation, just like we did in the previous question. We draw a statement indicating the profit or loss because of the revaluation of the asset. So similarly in this question as well, we will separately prepare a working note, indicate the revaluation taking place, and on that profit and the loss, and depending upon the profit or loss, we will just pass the adjustment entry. No need to prepare the evaluation account. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Prerna, is this question clear to you? Zainab, is it clear to you?
Yes. Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so guys, I'm giving you some time. Please solve this question. Please pass the necessary adjustment entry in the question. In the meantime, I'll also try to write the correct solution of this, and I'll be waiting for your answers. Quickly solve this question. Take around 5-7 minutes. Solve it and let me know the answer.
Done, sir.
Done? Everybody done? Anyone still doing it? Okay, I'll wait for one more minute. Quickly finish and let me know the answer. Done, everyone? Please confirm. Prerna, Zainab.
Yes, sir, done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, done.
Okay. All right. Then quickly tell me the answer. First of all, tell me the treatment of the investment. What will be the general entry for the investment? See, in this case, we already have the investment fluctuation fund available, right? So firstly, see, investment fluctuation fund is there, and we have a reduction in the value of the investment to rupees 20,000. That means the value of the investment declined by 10,000. So we have sufficient amount of reserve available to compensate this loss. Yes or no? We have sufficient amount of cash. We have sufficient amount of reserve available. Yes. So that will be first utilized for the. Just a minute. This is how we will show the treatment of the investment fluctuation reserve. This is the treatment. Investment fluctuation reserve account debit. Investment is reducing by 10,000. So to investment account 10,000, and remaining 10,000 will be distributed among the Bhavya and Sakshi in the ratio of 3:2. Got it? So this way, Bhavya is going to get 6,000 and Sakshi will get 4,000. Is that clear, everybody? That is what you guys have also done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Perfect. Very good. Now, the next thing in the question was, just a minute. Yeah, it says the goodwill of the firm is to be valued. Goodwill of the firm is valued at rupees 24,000. So this is the self-valued goodwill, na? So we will have to distribute it among the partners in their gaining and sacrificing ratio. We will have to adjust it. So, but for that purpose, we will have to determine their gaining and sacrificing ratio. Yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
for that, you will have to prepare extra working note, calculation of gaining and sacrificing shares of the partner. And I think the gaining and sacrificing share will be -1/10 for Bhavya, and for Sakshi, it should be 1/10. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So considering the gaining and sacrificing share, we will pass the journal entry for the adjustment of the self-valued goodwill. That will be Sakshi's account debit by 2,400 and Bhavya's account will be credited by 2,400. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
of you
sir.
getting the same answer now? Everyone? Anybody having any problems?
Yes, sir. I got the same answer.
Got the same answer. All right. And one last item was also there. It was general reserve is not to be distributed. So the treatment of the general reserve will be, anyone? Could you please tell me? General reserve will be dealt same as the goodwill. So in this
Yes,
case,
sir. We divide it into gaining and sacrifice.
correct. So that means uh, whose account will be debited?
Sir, Sakshi's account debited.
Sakshi account debit to Bhavya account, right? And
Yeah.
Sakshi account will be debited by what amount? 2,340. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
Sakshi
sir.
account. Okay. All right. All right then. So this is the correct solution of the question. I'm sure everybody understood this question very well. Let me check if I have any other question that I can give you for homework. I have a question, but it is kind of lengthy. And okay. And in these questions, you need to prepare the revaluation account as well. So will you be able to prepare the revaluation account or not? Okay, just take this screenshot of question number 88. I'm giving you quick question.
Sir,
However, this
we'll
question
try
is,
to make.
yeah, okay. Just give it a try. If you are not able to prepare it, then I'll be helping you in the next class. Anyways, this question number 88 is not related to the revaluation account formation. This question does not require us to prepare the revaluation account. You just need to pass the journal entry in this question. Anyways, take the screenshot. Question number 88. Question number 88. Take the screenshot of this. Done.
Yes, sir.
Also
Yes,
take the
sir.
screenshot of question number 89. This question requires you to prepare the revaluation account. Just give it a shot. Just give it a try. If you're not able to solve it, I'll be helping you on Saturday's class. Done? Everybody done?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir, can you Can you show the meaning of the meaning?
Meaning, as in?
Yeah. The first page, I didn't take a screenshot. No, so like the first one. The
First
first
one?
side that you showed today.
The question that we were doing today?
No, not the question, the treatment of revaluation account, the theory part.
Okay, you want me to? Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Yes, sir. Done.
Done? All
Yeah.
right, guys. So this is it. We'll discuss. We have various questions based on the evaluation. We'll cover all these questions in the next class. Make sure you revise the concept before attending the next class. Otherwise, you will have difficulty understanding. Since the question that we will be discussing in the next class is quite lengthy, in those questions, we will be preparing the revaluation account, the partner's capital account, and the balance sheet as well. So unless and until your basic concepts are clear, you will have some difficulty understanding these concepts. So I presume that you will revise and then only attend the next class. Okay. All